Game is the best of 5 sets. Referee in charge is Harry Smith.
Here comes John O'Shea, the world master from 3 months ago, and you have to say that maybe all the pressure is in on him now after winning that tournament and getting his slot in this event by winning it. Maybe he is one of the men to beat, but this is a preliminary round match. The winner of this one will go on and face the #1 seed Wesley Harms. But what I do love, John Gwynn, is that walk-on for the christened Dirty Harrysson, Andreas Harrysson, from one of my favourite bands actually from Scandinavia, Volbeat. Absolutely brilliant. Now that's a proper walk-on for me.
Well, I could see that. I could see that the guy to my right was getting rather excited when that walk-on was on, and he explained why. And very attractive music it is too. I'm not saying for one moment it does the same for me as it does for you, but anyway, the last time this fellow was on telly, you and I were calling in his wonderful victory in the World Masters just, what, 8 or 9 weeks ago?
26.
Over at the Circus Tavern, what, no more than 7 or 8 miles from here. Genial character from Cork, John O'Shea. One of the great characters in the game, Paul, I think you'll agree.
Yeah, I've known John for about a decade now, from my times going over to play darts in the Killarney area and the Cork area of Ireland. And I think I'm right in saying he's almost like darts royalty over there, because he's so synonymous with the sport in that area of the country. And even more so now, having his name etched on that historic trophy, which he's been parading around Ireland very proudly, and I think he's done a fabulous job.
Yeah, so he should. So, best of 5 sets, and seems incredible to see the World Masters champion in a preliminary round match, or effectively a first round game. But that's the way it is, and as you mentioned, the winner has the dubious pleasure of playing Wes Harms, the #1 seed. But they all come the same to John O'Shea, and I'm sure to Andreas Harrysson too. Still to get going, Paul, this, and it's been a bit low scoring so far.
Yeah, just a bit. But Harrysson just starting to tighten up a little bit. That's not too bad, but John O'Shea has got a great chance to break in the first leg of the match. Had a couple of bad darts in this leg so far, John O'Shea, but he's had enough good ones to get himself down to a double.
So, O'Shea for tops. That's a great marker, and you'd really fancy this if he was at his best straight away. That's rather a rye, but rectifies it perfectly. And an early lead to John O'Shea.
Yeah, it was a lovely marker. He used it eventually. He doesn't hang around, John O'Shea. He's never been a slow player, that's for sure.
41.
But one of the real characteristics of his win at the Circus Tavern a few weeks ago was the amount of exuberance that he showed when he was winning big legs against big players like Scott Waits in the final.
Yes.
45.
I made a list of the people he beat en route to that World Masters success, but I think we ought to say a word or two about this fella. He looks a bit like Lenin to me, but he's a much nicer person, I'm sure, than Lenin. Not that I ever met Lenin. And I was talking to him before. He's from Melilla, as has been mentioned, a very small town in Sweden, but very famous in the world of speedway, and that's his favourite other sport, notwithstanding obviously darts.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. I think the Swedes are really good at things like speedway and rallying.
But it seems incredible that a very small town, almost 200 miles away from the 3 main cities, Malmö, obviously Stockholm, and Gothenburg, and yet it houses one of the great speedway, 1,700 people in the village, and it houses one of the finest speedway teams in Scandinavia. Anyway, 156 Harrysson wants. He's speedily got down to that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a good job here. He's not going to take the 156, but he's got room to breathe with O'Shea losing his range a bit
60
in this second leg. Now, John really needs to start finding that first start because he has a great ability to put them together. Now, there was good grouping there, but the range just a bit too high.
Oh, double 8 now to level up. O'Shea won his leg against the throw.
80.
Harrysson has his chance.
154.
And O'Shea not going to take this out yet. He might when he gets into the meat of the game and settles
92.
down. He's capable of hitting some
16.
great finishes. 16 then. There it is, no problem. One apiece. Yes,
Third
O'Shea,
leg is
you'll
Andreas
remember
to
this, of
throw
course,
first.
Paul.
Game
He
on.
beat Justin Hood 3-1. Wilhelm Mandegers, who's played in this, are sadly gone now, 3-1. Neil Duff, who's also in this, in the quarterfinals,
100.
4-1. Then he played our old friend Van den Bochard by 5-1. And then that quality
43.
final, 6-4 against Scott Waits. That was brilliant, wasn't it, that final?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And for me, it was John O'Shea who made that tournament. There were lots of stories,
100.
particularly like the game against Neil Duff, which was Northern Ireland versus Ireland. And it was just a really good derby match. There was a little bit of passion on the stage there. And that's what I want to see, especially in a place like the Circus Tavern that's seen so much history.
What a great 140 from Harrysson here. Looks as though we might get a hold of throw because he's down at 161 and O'Shea 300 points further back. Well, actually, he was on 417 before that. It's now absolutely spot on, the score on your screen.
Yeah, John O'Shea's gone a bit missing on his scoring, and he needs to start figuring it out. Otherwise, he's going to get left behind in these early stages.
30.
106 for Harrysson.
Andreas, you require 106.
It'll be the first throw, like you mentioned, John.
46 left. Tops he wants. Oh,
Yes,
we got a three-figure finish. Dirty Harrysson.
John to throw
Cleaned up.
first. Game on.
106.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
You've known me quite a long
100.
time.
I have. It was a great shot, though. Very conventional. There's a lot of players these days who tend to fiddle around with 106 and maybe go
100.
to the south of the board and try and get the 57 and then utilize some different areas of the board. But
121.
60, single six and tops is as conventional as it gets.
Sometimes the best way is the old way, and there isn't really a feasible alternative that's any better.
60.
Of course, there are certain checkouts where there's only one way to hit it.
Yes, of course.
And
95.
one of those is the checkout of 3. You can only get one double
Oh,
one.
you are a clever man, you and your finishes. Brilliant, the way you think about.
121.
A misspent youth, John.
Well, there's been a bit of debate on social media about the 92. And, you know, I've always said
137.
bull route with 3 darts in your hand if the other fella's on the finish.
Completely agree with you.
But that's another matter. Anyway, 48 O'Shea. This juxtaposes one or two of the previous legs where
80.
Harrysson won with
John, you
something in
require
hand last
48.
time. Now O'Shea to level up wants tops himself. Well, he got it
28.
once, didn't he?
Andreas, you require
He's a
140.
little bit wayward, but he got it. But on this occasion, he's got a. This could go. This could go. Oh,
And for tops.
he went for tops.
100.
Well,
Johnny requires
I'm surprised by that
20.
because the lie was so good with the first dart.
I thought one alongside that, then double 10, which is what
Yeah,
he's
so it's
just
getting
got.
shot on fourth
2
leg.
legs all in its opening set.
Fifth leg,
Still
Andreas
really
throw
to
first.
kick off.
Game on.
In terms of the scoring, certainly of O'Shea, but this fella's beginning to look like a very serious dart player.
Yeah, there's not many Swedish dart players you can break. They've got that
26.
incredible statuesque nature, and they've got a really good mentality for most sports they play. Think about the Swedish greats of years gone by, the likes of Stefan Lord, Magnus Carlsen, who retired last year, which was sad for us all to see, but everybody has
45.
to bow out at some point. And even the likes of Stefan Nage, who is a forgotten player really, because when he made his debut at Lakeside a few years ago, he beat a certain Gary Anderson in his first game.
Yeah. Well done, John O'Shea. He's got our first 180 of the match, and
Andreas, you require 121.
he needed it, didn't he? He was trailing by rather a lot. Oh,
Yes, that's game shot
106 followed by a 1-2-1.
Second set, first leg. It is John to
A
throw
brilliant,
first. Game on.
brilliant showing from Harrysson. He has been outstanding, Paul, in the last
68.
2 or 3 legs.
Yeah, that last leg was quite wonderful. 12 darter, leaving 121 after 9 and then clipping that 121 out. I think we're starting to see a little bit of
95.
evidence about what Tony O'Shea was saying at the top of the show with Matt Smith. Just really dangerous.
100.
Well, you mentioned Magnus Carlsen, who actually retired and then came back in again and did quite well. But he said he played Magnus Carlsen back in 1997.
180.
Now it's warming up. Now it's warming up, and beat him. And he also spoke fondly of the guy you mentioned, Stefan Lord, who of course was a big part of the early part of the game in the 80s, 70s and 80s.
All of a sudden, Dirty Harrysson is not missing a great deal. But there's one guy that fascinates me about Swedish darts.
43.
He was touted as the next huge Scandinavian hope. Made a debut at the World Championships, and then we never saw him again, pretty much. It was a lad called Marcus Kohonen. He was a fabulous player.
46.
One tournament wonder, perhaps. Can happen, of course. Well, they'll all be watching down in Cork. Their hero.
90. Andreas, you require 40.
So, tops here for an early lead in this second set. Oh, that's a great marker. Surely this is it. Oh, look at that, Paul. Right on the wire, both of them. You wouldn't believe it.
Kept bending that wire like a high jumper bends the bar on the way down. Well, the wire has reset
41.
itself, and it's
Andreas,
second down and 40 for Andreas Harrysson. Well, if you can't hit that one, just try a different target.
Yes,
And he does that wonderfully. Takes the first leg of the second set. You have to say it, John, I think O'Shea needs to start correcting some of the wrongs from the early part of this match, otherwise Harrysson is not going to stop.
He's got his work cut out. This fella's got a lovely action, hasn't he? Nice, high, you can see down the line. In contrast,
62.
in a way, to John O'Shea, it's very different.
Well, Andreas's look,
45.
he could grace the front of any rock band. He looks like he could honestly be the lead singer of someone like Megadeth or potentially Pantera or some band like that.
140.
But most dart players I know from the Scandinavian region, they just love rock music. And I'm not talking about soft rock music, I'm talking about really
46.
heavy rock music.
Yep. Which again is not my cup of tea, but got nothing against the people to whom it is.
95.
Well, I was talking to John O'Shea earlier, and I said to him, why so serious? Just trying to crack a joke with him. He's
60.
looking very serious right now because it's just not happening for him.
No, it isn't. And this guy, I think, senses here that if he just continues playing the board, which basically is what he's been doing, he's out on his own now, and 64 wanted after just 12 darts, with O'Shea really genuinely struggling.
Andreas, you require 64.
A beautiful, smooth action of Andreas is serving him well. It's tops. Ooh, he bends that wire again.
Oh, he loves picking out that wire on the top of the 20s, doesn't he? Skimming the bar and going over into the crowd
85.
in football terms.
Require 40.
But I think he'll get it this time.
Yeah,
I just felt he would. He's got the range all right, hasn't he?
Third leg is John to throw first.
Well, he looks like a big fella. I'm not going to argue with him. Why would you? Because he's doing a bit of a job on John O'Shea right now. So if the contingent from Cork really are watching this match, they're going to be doing so with a few less fingernails than the start. Well, at the Circus Tavern, of course, when John O'Shea won that title, there was a very big vocal contingent of Irish people there. I just get the sense that maybe that same quantity
45.
isn't here to buoy him on.
Yeah, you can see a Swedish flag as we look out there on that caption we just had.
Yeah, definitively Swedish.
60.
That shirt, of course. Bit of yellow and blue. I am a fan of the shirt of John O'Shea, I'm not going to lie, because I'm a big fan of the movie that his nickname is based on. But it seems like it's the nicknames of the movies here. You got Dirty Harry and the Joker.
Ah, the Joker, yeah, yes. Just
100.
places that last one in between the other two, making it look so easy, and that's the difference between the two. One, namely
78.
he, looks as though he's working hard. The other one is just out there having a nice stroll. He's really enjoying this, and he throws a really positive down the line dart.
60.
Again, very close to the treble, but it's very one-sided, this, Paul, at the moment.
It is, and I've got to say the technique of Andreas Harrysson is very impressive.
58.
So smooth. It almost reminds me of a dart player I know from Kent called Matt Clark. Very similar.
Yeah, lives up in the Manchester area now and has done for quite a number of years.
94.
I think it's actually
Johnny
Bolton that he lives. Yeah.
120.
Shanghai 20s for John O'Shea. This might have to go. Tops. That's a little bit better from John O'Shea.
Third leg, John O'Shea.
And he keeps himself in the set. How
Fourth
big
leg
is that
Andreas
shot going to
throw
be
first.
when we talk about this match
on.
in maybe a set and a half's time?
Well, if ever a man needed a finish, it was O'Shea there, and he really did pull it out.
45.
True professionalism, struggling, but still able to get in there. Now, is that going to give him the lift that he needs and the added confidence?
100.
Possibly. Starts with a top.
Needs to get the adrenaline pumping, I feel. You know, it's a very subdued kind of game, and the interesting thing about Harrysson is he's not feeding O'Shea any
140.
fiery nature from his game. He's playing a John Lowe type of game. But this section of the draw, I've got to talk about it because
55.
it's heavily stacked. If you look about in the top half, it's the winner of this one plays Wesley Harms, the #1 seed. Then the winner of that game plays Scott Waits or Martin Adams.
60.
And then in the next couple of games, you got Mikhail Unterbuchner, who played really well this afternoon.
Good player.
And then the next two who play against
81.
Unterbuchner, it's Scott Mitchell and Leighton Bennett.
That's some half of the draw, as you say. Unterbuchner, it didn't surprise me his performance this afternoon, because he was runner-up in the World Darts Trophy 20 months ago and gave Glenn Durrant the winner. A really tough time in the final. It was a brilliant game. I got a lot of respect for the German.
100.
And it wouldn't surprise me if he went all the way. But this fella's impressed me so far, Paul. He's in again. And again. And again. 174. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's got down to 44.
Get the feeling that Andreas thought he had no room to hit another 60, so
36.
casually switched over to the
Andreas
54.
require 44.
And all of a sudden, for the set, he needs double 18. It's got to go to the left.
8.
That dart lands flat. He'll have covered the bottom
Johnny
half of the bed.
129.
This will be some sort of skin saver from John O'Shea. 16 ball.
Bullseye! Oh, it would have been so
88.
nice to see that. Not because
Andreas
I
required
favoured him,
36.
but because it would have taken this set all the way. And
Yes, that's going
now
for
it
the second set.
certainly
Andreas
isn't going to go all the way.
O'Shea doesn't
First
find
leg is
some
Andreas
tricks up
to
his sleeve.
throw first.
He could be
Game
disposed of in very quick fashion.
I thought that moment when he got that nice check out to win
60.
the third leg of that previous set was the start of a comeback, and to his credit, Harrysson,
41.
he was unfazed. He wasn't moved by the fact that O'Shea had won that particular leg. He is the epitome of a cool dude, and he looks pretty unmoved to me. He just plays the game, plays the board, and whatever his opponent does really doesn't affect him. And that's a nice state to a nice condition to have, isn't it? Where it's you and the target that matters more than anything else.
Well, who's to say that Andreas Harrysson couldn't go on a run as a bit of an unknown quantity like Goran Klema did a few years ago when he made the final of the World Masters and eventually lost out to Raymond van Barneveld.
Yeah.
That was out of nowhere, and then everybody remembers that run from Goran Klema.
And
44.
And this competition, the BDO World Championships, full of examples of people who've come from nowhere to win it. Outsiders.
100.
Unfancied.
Andreas, you require 135.
We could name Dennis Priestley, we could name Keith Deller, who was a rank outsider at the start, 135, and
40.
so only 40. So if O'Shea can put in a 140 here, and he needs at least that, I would suggest. Brilliant. 70 left.
Well, I think he just fancied a 180 just to get himself going.
Andreas, you require
I don't mind that in
95.
that spot, but maybe missing the 60 was a blessing. It's not in his hands anymore because Harrysson needs double 16. Oh, he's not far away. But now
Johnny
O'Shea
require
needs this.
50.
And there's a perfect example of a man in the 90s goes the bull route.
Yes,
Because O'Shea was on a finish, and O'Shea in fact finishes.
Second leg is John to throw
And the important thing about that,
Game
Paul, is
on.
that it's against the throw, and O'Shea then has a golden opportunity to get back in this.
55.
Then starts with a disappointing 55. Methinks it could be punished.
It would be typical John O'Shea behaviour to win from this position. He does tend to make things very exciting. That's one of the reasons why I love to watch him so much. He is fabulous company. He could have a good time in an elevator on his own.
140.
Yes.
Takes all sorts in darts though. Sometimes you need the
45.
characters, but you need the stoic players as well, the likes of Harrysson. And then they're called the antithesis players. You got your Eric
100.
Bristows, and the antithesis of him was John Lowe.
Yes.
Then you had someone like Phil Taylor, and then you had Dennis Priestley. Every rivalry is because of different styles and
100.
different approaches.
Well, he settled down quite nicely. That useful ton takes him down to 106 and favourite to win this leg. It'll be interesting to see how Harrysson responds.
11.
That's his lowest score.
Johnny require 106.
11. That's how we do it in exhibitions. We get a few of them.
106 is not going to go.
38.
Would he be back for something more comfortable than that? Harrysson seems to have lost that range on the lipstick, and O'Shea seems to be finding one better dart of visit than he did in the first two sets.
Johnny requires 68.
Yes, I think Harrisson's got to rely on O'Shea missing this double four, and he's
Yes,
not.
that's
That's excellent stuff from the Irishman. Well, he's showing
Third
great
leg,
character
Andreas to
here
throw first.
because
Game
in those
on.
first two sets he had his moments, but he was generally outplayed. but he's come back well in this third set, and it's interesting to see how Harrysson is reacting, because now he's aware of O'Shea, whereas before, as I was saying, he was just pleased to play the board.
140.
Well, one thing we know, John, after that World Masters is that when John O'Shea gets going, he can maintain a really good intensity over a long format, and long format darts is not something that Harrysson has a lot of experience of.
That's right. Well, we can refer to that final against Scott
44.
Waits, where he was absolutely brilliant. So too was Waits, mind you. But it was the big moments that O'Shea enjoyed that got him through that one, and it may well be the big moments that are going to get him through this, although he's still got a bit of a mountain to climb. 2-0 down.
Yeah, good darts from John O'Shea. Only gets 95 for his efforts, but he will have, you think, another opportunity to potentially close the set out. Harrysson seems to have tightened things up a little bit in this leg, which is very encouraging for his chances to get this done 3-0. John O'Shea needs another treble.
98.
So he's on 124. Harrysson finishing 80 here with 20 and double tops. Up a bit more. Oh, and
60.
this now is a chance. 1-2-4 it is for O'Shea.
He's not going to get a shot. Cardinal sin. Got to get that big 20 to
40.
have an effort at the treble 18 and
you
ball.
require 20.
You get the feeling it has to wait until the next leg. Double 10 is good.
Third leg, Andreas Harrysson.
Stops
Fourth
the
leg,
rot in set
John
3.
throw first.
I mentioned the
Game on.
travelling party that John O'Shea was part of at the Circus Tavern. Well, I had a tweet from Robin Byrne, the young lady player.
Yes,
and
100.
she reckons John's not doing so well because she's not here shouting her head off. Well, I just said to Robin on Twitter, well, what you're not doing here then? You should be supporting John.
59.
Well, this is the leg. This has got to be the leg, in my opinion, because it will be the set.
100.
O'Shea's on his throw. He's got 2 consecutive tons. He's in with a great shout here of taking this game into the 4th set.
60.
15 darts will get it done for me. So if he gets another couple of tons and... Well, there's the one. Needs to hit it at some point. That's a really bad deflection.
21.
Not the kind of visit he needed. That invites Harrysson back into the leg. He's only 100 and change behind.
Yes. And 2 treble 20s here would turn it his way. Well, he's gone downstairs for reasons best known to himself.
58.
That's music to O'Shea's ears, frankly, just 58.
Tremendous third dart there from John O'Shea.
Definite improvement from the first 2 sets for O'Shea, and Harrysson not as consistent
41.
as he was, and I think that's because
140.
he's now just feeling the pressure laid on him by the Irish player on your screen.
60.
Well, John O'Shea was really forced to stay on the treble 20 there. He couldn't really utilise any of the switches, and he's not going to be under much pressure. And he's going to have 6 darts from 80, but how much he would love to just get it done now. Single 20. Really well done for tops. He flicks that single 20 dart, and he will return for 10s, which, John, is his double. That's his winning double.
He just hit it a moment or 2 ago, didn't he, to win that previous leg. And, or should I say the one previous to that, the last leg he won. So here goes
20.
for the 3rd set. Oh, that's a great marker. I'm surprised he hasn't moved slightly. I'm surprised he
10.
didn't move to his left and throw towards that
Andreas,
dart.
you require 100.
Well, it could be 2 all-in legs in a minute.
Heartbreaking shot this, if this goes in. Harrysson needs that very double that John O'Shea's just missed, and it was a bit reachy.
John,
It was a little bit lurchy, wasn't smooth, and O'Shea survives. And on this occasion, he does get the set. May have to dodge a few. But he has got that first set in the column.
Leg, it is John to throw first.
And the plan is coming to fruition for the World Master. Takes a sip of water, which I think is the right call at this point. I think there's legs left in this match.
Well, there are at least 3, aren't there?
Game on.
But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Just, I'm going to say it's just a turn of the tide.
33.
But, there's a turn of sorts. Harrisson's gone off as O'Shea's improved. And that wonderful, wonderful first 2 sets for Harrysson, where he could hardly miss a thing, never went out of the sector that he was aiming for. Now it's boot on the other foot, very much so. Oh, yes, another maximum for the Irishman. What a change this game has seen. Unbelievable.
Well, this is a set that John O'Shea throws first in.
100.
Music to his ears and his fans. Stubbornly staying on the 60.
60.
Don't know why, because that third dart was begging to be going to the 18s. 140 from Harrysson, he's back in the leg.
Only 100 though, so still advantage O'Shea. Andreas Harrysson swept into a 2-0 lead. The first set, in fairness, was close. It was 3-2. The second set was 3-1. And as you've just seen, it was by 3-1 that O'Shea won the third set.
101.
Where does he go for the 134? Conventional is 60. Gets that. Treble 14. Oh, double 7.
Yeah.
Oh, John O'Shea's back. That's a little bit more of what we saw about 8 or 9 weeks ago. John O'Shea magic.
Well, that, if it hadn't been magic, was madness. I can't believe anybody else would go for 2 treble 20s and double 7. But his theory, I'm sure, and his thinking was, I'm only going to have 1 darter to double.
50.
It doesn't matter which one it is. They're all the same side. And into the double 7 it went. What a finish.
Lucky 7 it must be.
45.
He's back in the match. And if you can break the Harrysson throw on this, or maybe the 4th leg occasion in this set, then he's going to be in a really good position.
100.
Well, the last time Harrysson got 2 darts in the treble 20 at the same visit was his 180, his only 180, and that was in the first leg of the second set. And up to that point, admittedly, it was only the 6th leg of the match, but he'd been ploughing them in just like this.
I love those John O'Shea celebrations, John. I really do. There's nothing rehearsed about them. He is amped when he hits a shot like that. That's what makes him so watchable.
45.
And it's not just the celebrations, it's the anguish as well.
Those moments, yes. Yeah, you called it exactly as I saw it. Treble 20, treble 14, double 16,
43.
treble 20, treble 20, double 7. Oh, I can't believe it. But the beauty of players like John O'Shea is that they are unpredictable. That's the beauty of them. So wonderfully unpredictable.
Well, in the words of his somewhat alter ego on his dart shirt,
Yes.
Why not bring a little chaos?
54.
Well, the carrot for the Swede is still a game with Wes Harms in the next round.
81.
And you'd rather be 2 sets to 1 up.
154.
Even though you're 1 leg down, 154 he's going for, 57. And another 57 would have left tops, of course.
78 left, confirmed by the referee.
96.
This would be something, wouldn't it?
150.
If he's so unconventional, why not have 3 bulls?
I was convinced he was going to go for 6 19s and double 18, but
94.
decent pressure in case Harrysson has
required 58.
any more bother on tops. He knows he had a miscount with his last dart, but it doesn't matter now. This double 10 is huge. He's missed it, and O'Shea, like a fan to a flame,
56.
has got to get this. He'll be in the ascendancy.
Yes,
Well,
on the second
he
leg.
certainly now is in the ascendant because
throw first.
throwing first here, and he's in a similar position that he was in the previous set, 2-0. Was enough to see him through eventually to victory in that set. What a start. What a different player he is to the first 20 minutes of this match.
If O'Shea can get rid of this set really quick, he'll be hoping that the referee forgets there's a break after set 4. He'll want to keep going.
Absolutely. When you're on a roll, you want to keep rolling. But
100.
some players can hold themselves together in that 2.5 minutes. Some stay on stage and keep throwing at the board. I don't think there's anything to stop them doing that. But
78.
others fall apart during the break.
Well, that first start has transformed itself for O'Shea in the last couple of sets. It's been so much better. Leaving himself 161 after 9 darts. That's much more consistent.
95.
6 darts for it for the set.
161.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him to do it here, but he can't now. 156. 96 left. He'll be happy with that. He's got the guarantee of coming back again, of course.
76 for John O'Shea.
100.
100 down to 88 for Andreas Harrysson. He's lurking, but O'Shea needs 25 and ball. He's nowhere near the 25. And he's got 64 left. He cannot believe that from 76 he's not getting a set dart.
That's right. It was the guarantee should have been there at 1 dart at a double.
88.
And the same applies here. Harrysson at least 1 dart at bull, perhaps. He wants 18 and the bull.
51.
Not really scared it. So John
16.
O'Shea, to take us to the 4th set break, needs 2 8s for 2-2.
Yes,
2-2. And John O'Shea has shown us how much spirit he's got.
They are as competitive as any two sportsmen you'll see on the planet right now. But there's a handshake, it is game on, all to play for. Great self or mutual respect.
Yeah, good to see. Everybody wants to win, of course, but having respect for your opponent should be a natural thing. And one thing I know about John, especially, is that he respects everybody 85. Very highly. I don't think he knows Andreas too well, but he will after this.
No, I asked the Swedish fella here, Andreas, if he'd ever played John. He said, no, don't know him. Obviously, he said, I know what he's done, I know what he can do. But it's the first time they've ever met on the hockey.
100.
You wouldn't want to bump into John O'Shea by accident. He's made us some pretty stern stuff.
100.
Like I say, I've known John about 10 years, and he has this amazing habit of
60.
referring to himself in the 3rd person, which is probably one of the reasons why he's called the Joker. But he's an infectious character, and he's always been good.
85.
And sometimes to see someone win a massive title, it's good for the story of the sport.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now, he's not going to like that one, but he's going to really like that third.
And I know I can mention this because at one time you wouldn't have done because of the faction between the two organisations. But to see Peter Wright win a world title is absolutely brilliant as well. And if he's watching this, well done, mate. Absolutely brilliant.
Just shy on that 25 and bull cover.
You require 67.
It might not be a disaster yet for him as he went for the treble 9 for tops. Harrysson.
Yes,
that's really cleanly taken. Of course, this last set you have to win by 2 clear legs. If it goes 5 all, it will be the super leg.
Yes. You can win 3-0, you can win 3-1. But if it goes 1 apiece, although it's not announced until 2 apiece, you've got to win by 2 clear legs.
41.
That's the most unusual way of going for 67, but nothing wrong with it, of course. Treble 9 double top, and if you like the double top, why not? The 9, you're still on a finish, aren't you? 58.
Now that's the main reason why people use that route. Maybe from 67 they'll use treble 9, 64 they'll use treble 8, 61 will be treble 7. Those small trebles can be very handy if you like tops.
28.
Gonna rather like the first set. This, I think John's just got that break has done Harrysson more good than O'Shea. It's what we were talking about before,
97.
really, isn't it?
I completely agree with you. If they'd have stayed on stage, I have every confidence that John O'Shea would have won 3-2. But he's got to get that consistency, and he's got to get it quick.
That's pretty impressive from both of them, in fairness.
Yeah, 50% on doubles for John O'Shea is very good. Even 8 out of 22 is just a shade over a third.
100.
Good position here for John. If he can clear up that 97, try and better that 67 out from Andreas in the last leg.
60. Johnny require 97.
So, tops he wants. Double 10. No problem. He's pretty good on that, isn't he? I know he had his difficulties earlier in the game on it.
Third leg's
But
Andreas to throw
generally,
first. Game
he
on.
sinks it. 1 leg all, 2 sets all. I love it.
Who's going to break first?
140.
Fascinating encounter. And if we go the same way that we did this afternoon with the session, we could be here until tomorrow morning.
140.
1 minute past 12. It's tomorrow morning.
That was a late night last night with Jim Williams and Gary Stone, who went really deep in their match. And of course, that was after the Montgomery Tricol match,
55.
which did go all the way to the very last leg. Only 60 from John O'Shea, but he stays in touch just in case Harrysson makes a mistake. 306, I like the switch because
58.
if you get 419s, you can still hit a treble 20 to leave a finish. But now, can O'Shea find more? That'll do.
140.
Yes, it will indeed. I'm not sure he went for the trouble with that last dart. I think he was happy just to get the 140. But maybe I'm wrong.
81.
Well, it's definitely advantage O'Shea now. He's
161.
taking the darts away from the Swede. 146 left after that first dart. Only 55.
Andreas,
And maybe we haven't had the biggest
167.
moment in this match yet.
Well, we've seen a 106 in this game, but it was from this fella earlier in the first set. Third leg of the match, in fact.
41.
Can O'Shea do now what he did then?
106.
No. That's the one thing he didn't want to do. Oh, no, he's only scored 81. He went for the 5.
He's...
Andreas,
I see. I was going to
126.
say, what's he doing? He'll go the 19 route here, surely. Got to. That's it now, he wants the bullseye. Oh, that would have been absolutely
Johnny
crucial.
required 25.
Absolutely crucial. To break the throw, double 10. Nobody can blame him for going that way. Oh, I would have
15.
thought that was in. I honestly
Andreas
would have
required
thought that was in.
25.
But he doesn't go 5 double 10. He's going 9 double 8. Double 4. This is such a big dart. And he's wired it both
17.
times. Both darts wobbled because they were so close to the metal.
Yeah.
10.
Now then, he's got this double 5 once in the game. He's not going to get it the second time right here.
6.
Such a great opportunity for John O'Shea
8.
to break throw and then potentially throw for the match. Harrysson
Yes, that's going to
denies him that opportunity, and now Harrysson has the opportunity to break O'Shea and win this game.
Throw first. Game on.
Yes.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat, doesn't he, John O'Shea?
You know,
60.
down the years I've often said it's the missed darts at the double that often are just as exciting as the ones that go in. Oh,
Well,
that
Andreas was thinking after those narrow misses at double 8 and double 4 that this game could have been up. But how things can change in these final sets. And it's O'Shea now who needs to play well to keep himself in it.
100.
needs must. And sometimes when needs must in himself, he trusts. We've seen evidence of it from O'Shea.
45.
We know this fella can be rock steady. O'Shea's knocked him off his equilibrium during the course of this match. And now he's in the process possibly of doing it again. Brilliant visit that from the Irishman.
Yeah, it gives him a ton lead. Harrysson is not going to get a huge score.
55.
And O'Shea, if he can keep doing what he's been doing in this leg, he will take us to the deciding set tiebreaker.
60.
Only 60 leaves him on 156, a lead of 105. I tell you what, those
60.
were going in the red bit.
John, you require 156.
All too readily in the opening two sets, and on occasion since. But this,
45.
that's an unlucky 45. 1-1-1 he goes to. Harryson's in with a shout here, Paul, if he gets a score.
Has to get a big treble with his last start. Doesn't.
55.
Too many times he's come
John,
up
you require
dry.
111.
He's offered O'Shea so much breathing room. And too many of the wrong singles at the wrong time. Big six to leave tops. He's miscounted.
72.
I think he's left
Andreas,
himself
you're
on
146.
39. I think he's miscounted.
He has miscounted. He needed a big six there to leave himself on the favoured tops. And when he looks at the scoreboard, he's going to be horrified.
46.
Had he got the 16, he'd have wanted
39.
30 instead of the 40 he was thinking he was going for. Now he wants double 16. Now he wants double 8. That was unconvincing. So was that.
31.
Nerves. They got to him now. And Harrysson
Andreas,
did this
you require
about
100.
5 legs ago, 6 legs ago. He went treble 20, double top. There's the treble 20. Double 10 he wants. Oh, on the
90.
wire again. Ah, that's incredible.
Two match
John, you
darts
require
missed
8.
from the Swede. Can O'Shea keep himself in it with double 2? Bad efforts at doubles until now. And more misses, and John O'Shea knows that maybe that is it.
Andreas, you require 10.
Andreas Harrysson from
Yes,
Sweden.